All right. Oh, let's move this off. Let's get you back to here. For me, what's going on, everybody? Jeff Hirsch here. I know it's a little bit later than the planned time from about 4 hours ago that we were going to have this, but our internet router went out last night, and I couldn't get anybody here before 1 p.m. today. And actually, they showed up like 2:40 for my 1 to 2 o'clock meeting. So our 12 o'clock call was not going to happen on a mobile hotspot. I didn't see that being a good idea. So we're going to record today, and we're going to get this up and running in the back office for everybody. So we're doing this live a little bit later. I know it's 4 o'clock on the West Coast, so it's 7 on the East Coast. And if you're in the UK or something, I apologize for those of you guys that are staying up, midnight type time frames. But obviously, we'll record this and answer any questions as we get in. Got a couple of comments that are coming in. What's going on? It looks like, hey, Jeff, I said hi to everybody, and buenas noches to you as well. Cool. All right, so that means you guys can hear, see all that great stuff. What we're gonna do is we're gonna dive right into it today because it is a little bit later, and today's actually, a holiday. Actually, I've got a couple of friends and people, reached out to me because it's St. Patrick's Day of like, hey, what are you doing? And come on. I was like, well, actually, I'm no longer free. So I'm not catching up with anybody today. Just gonna spend some time with the family. But let's go ahead and jump into it for what we're going to be covering today. Okay. This call is specifically built for those of you that grabbed the revision application, which I think I want to say more than half the folks that purchased this program grabbed this. So it's a great, smart move. We had some other people email in trying to get in later as well. Obviously, this training is going to be based on somebody that doesn't understand vibe coding, doesn't understand how you can build an app with something like Lovable. And I'm going to blow your mind today. Would show you how easy it really is to go out there and just build a small tool that you can use in your business. Obviously, building it for enterprise level or production level value where you're selling at scale is kind of the next level. We're not going to get to that today because you want to worry about security concerns, user levels, and things like that. Is it possible with vibe coding? Yes, it is. But we're going to start small as an agency, and I'm going to show you how you can build little AI tools for your own agency live over the shoulder today. Okay. I'm going to show you how we built the revision app and how I did it pretty quickly within an hour or two before I turned around and sold it as part of this training. How you can create and launch your own products. I've actually have some of the junior marketers that are on my team. Actually, one junior marketer in particular is actually in my Lovable account, and he's creating an app right now. He just took it upon himself to kind of create a form submission and checking app. So this is possible. Some of the guys locally that I meet with or talk to on a regular basis, they actually are creating their own apps as well, just using vibe coding. It does accelerate timelines. It does make things easier. If you have a development team, I don't think it necessarily at this point replaces development teams. Everybody marketing world talks about oh, you don't need anybody. Well, who is going to look at your security concerns? Who's going to look at some other aspects of a code base that if you start selling it at a scale level, you need to have that risk mitigated. So what I would say is what we're going to sell today is little tools that help your agency. Okay. I'm going to give you this one. I'm going to walk you through how I built it. We're going to show you how to customize it for yourself, and we're going to dive in from there. If you have any questions as we go through, then, just put them in the chat and we'll get going. But I'll stop and answer any questions that we have as we go in. So you actually be able to see the screen, everything we get in. I'm actually going to take myself off the screen so you can see the full thing as we go. And we'll talk about some real revenue models as well. Okay. So this is not to scare you. This is not to say oh, the world's, changing and, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. There is going to be a shakeup with agencies. Okay. AI focused agencies will replace majority of the traditional agencies, and the big box agencies that I am trying to compete with as a boutique agency that we're looking at, that we're targeting. We have the ability to outmaneuver them, outplay them. What we don't have is we don't have the brand, right? As a smaller agency, you tend to be a boutique. But if you can get the results better, faster, and maybe even cheaper, we call it a golden triangle, right? But better, faster, more efficient, more effective, you can start outworking and outpacing some of those traditional agencies. Speed, leverage, and automation, right? AI can take a part in some of this. What I found with like some of those big box and traditional type agencies, they're large. They have expensive teams. They have, they have overhead. They have folks that have been with them for a while that they're just not going to go get rid of. They expect to have high retainers, and they're going to put a lot of that money out back on the table. But if you have an AI agency, like I showed in the call yesterday, I showed what my new agency site is, how it's coming along. If you don't know where that is in our training as we go through, if you go into the school group and you go to our live training session 1, right now we're in training session 2, go back to training session 1. This was yesterday's call. I actually showed you some of our website, what we were doing with it. So you can jump back into that inside of the school group and go from there. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Awesome. There we go. So when you have an AI lead generation agency, right, an on-demand lead gen agency, you can do things with automations and systems. You're more agile, right? You're leaner. But the cool part is you can create little apps like this to help get your foot in the door, to identify, where you can actually do your outreach or what can help convert somebody a little bit better. And then I find it interesting because this is a big shift that's going to be happening. And some of the folks in our industry are talking about it too, that are my friends. Agencies are going to be moving away from service offerings a little bit more into micro SaaS and customized SaaS, right? This is going to be a shift that happens in the agency world. Okay. You can start creating these little assets. And if you haven't noticed, I've got some, big branded products. I've got reviewly.ai. I'm wearing the shirt today. I've got Leadsly, right? I've got loudaf.ai as well. Those are some bigger products. But if you guys think about it, over the last 12 months, 18 months, you've seen smaller products, little micro SaaS, smaller apps, things like that. Talking like our scan suites, our review snapshots, and things like that. We've actually merged the review snapshot into Reviewly. But these are smaller, think of them like lead gen SaaS, micro tools that help with specific problems that we don't need to create a whole full problem solving solution around it. So the older agency model is going to be like the services and consulting, the hourly billings, right? But when you have tools and automation and software and you can create leverage at scale, you can actually create a system that allows you to leverage a new agency model where you can move into productizing things, creating small micro SaaS that solves a problem specifically for one client that you can then turn and license that out to other clients from there. So this is an opportunity that is going to be happening. You can use vibe coding as it comes through, and software helps create leverage. So it becomes a very powerful tool for you. And if you notice, if you're using white label tools like mine or any software that's out there, whether it's automation, right, that allows you to actually scale and serve hundreds to thousands of clients all at once. And once you create a tool, you're not rebuilding things over and over. You're just putting somebody into a system that gives you scalability. And software and tools always come with a premium price. And even better yet, one of the biggest things that I like with it is you could actually charge a monthly recurring revenue. Now, the tool that I'm going to show you today is not a monthly recurring revenue tool. It's a lead gen tool to get your foot in the door, but it helps build up the ladder. Okay. Most agencies start by using tools internally. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to start at level 1 today, right? How to save time, maybe cut costs, or, and I think in this case, streamline the overall deliverability and speed up the entire process. Once you start finding tools that help you close more deals, you're going to be going, how can I use AI to deliver results faster at a premium price from there? Then once you start delivering those tools, you're going to wonder, how can I drive more traffic to the tools that I have? You might be creating lead gen tools like I have in our own business. And then you start creating those full-blown micro SaaS products. This is a step-by-step. For a lot of you, yesterday on the call, you had 0, 2, 5, less than 10 clients. Stay at level 1 right now. Okay. Look for the tools that are going to help save time, cut your costs, and streamline that overall deliverability for yourself and build it into your AI agency flywheel. Okay. So, what you're going to do is you're going to build a tool that solves a specific real problem. The solution that the revision app was built for is to solve the problem of I'm going to meet a client. Actually, I was just talking to one of our fellow agencies literally 40 minutes ago, and he mentioned that bakery that he was in and talking to had a website. They said it was slow, and I told them put them into this tool and show them examples, and they're like, "Oh, they're kind of going to get to it, right? They don't see the value there yet." So if you can show them the potential or put them in the driver's seat of what it would look like, that can help move that conversation forward. That's a lead magnet that allows you to attract prospects, right? We're going to show you how to turn this revision app into a little lead magnet for yourself and your agency, where you're going to have leads that will be putting themselves into your software, whether it be through cold outreach, they find your site, they see one of your social posts, and that will help turn them into a paying client. And you'll already know some of the hardest things of what they're going to want, because with this tool, they're going to select the big picture theme and feel of the actual product, which is the website that they want at the end. As this happens, the little idea light bulb is going to go off. Well, what if I could do this? What if I want to build that? That's where this really, truly helps you grow and scale as you get going. Because right now, today, we're going to talk about revision. This is a simple little tool that I've actually built. I've given you the code to, and we're going to build upon that together. And this will be a little bit interactive today as we get in. Okay. The big picture here is to help me turn these website ideas into some real designs that somebody can actually see 3 to 6 options that may work well for them, visualize what it would look like for their business, and really put it in front of them. Like, this is what we could potentially do for you. I always like to put our prospects in the driver's seat of this is what you could have. This is what you could be driving as a lead generation website for your business. All you have to do is say yes from there. Because if something speaks to them, if something like just piques their interest, they are going to say, how much? Or could you do this for me? And that works out as one of the easiest ways to close a deal. The reason why this works so well is because we actually are showing them what it's going to look like, and we help them visualize themselves in that scenario. That's why when you go to buy an automobile, they let you test drive the car. They want you to see yourself in that car driving it every day. We're doing the exact same thing, right? We used to be like, oh, hey, your website needs improvement. We'll fix it, right? Give us half down and we'll come back in 3 weeks or 6 weeks, and then we'll start building it. And then we'll make all the changes. And then at the end, we're just going to pay us the balance and we'll make it go live. I've been doing that for years, for like, 17 plus years now. But that can be time consuming. It actually could cost you a lot on the front end to potentially even not make the sale, because how are you going to show them what it looks like? Right? A lot of people say, oh, give me 3 competitors and we're going to give you 1 to 3 designs, and then you're going to get 1 to 3 revisions before we start building it. Well, to go back and forth and do that, you've now lost weeks of time and hundreds of dollars at a minimum from there. So what you can do now by using this app is say, basically, here's what your website is going to look like in a very basic, rudimentary, just homepage snapshot. What they see, though, even though this is a very simple, very easy to use app, they don't know that. They just know the experience that they're having is they just put in their URL or uploaded a picture of the site, and they see the potential. And that's where they start asking, how much? How much would this cost for you to build it for me? And if you were on the call yesterday watching this, it's in the back office already. It goes live pretty quick. What you'll see is a very easy path to charging $500 to $2,000 upfront with this. You can charge even more. I've charged in excess of 5 figures, mid 5 figures for websites in the last 12 months right? I've clocked websites as high as $50,000. We've sold websites for $35,000 in the last year. We've even done in the past, not in the last year, but probably like 3 or 4 years ago, we've done them for like $11,000, $12,000. So like those are big pages, those are big sites. But if you are an agency and you are just getting started, what I want you to understand is these set websites sell better, faster, and with a higher margin, speed of implementation today with AI than they ever did, because you have the opportunity to use AI to help accelerate that process. Now, there are a lot of opportunities here for you to actually go out there and create product for yourself. So I just wanted to give you a couple ideas of things. And if you see any of the ones that you've purchased from us in the last year, I think the whole left hand side are not necessarily all vibe coded apps by any means, right? But you can always get the initial thought process, the design, the UI, UX, or the concept built, and then hand that over to a team. Or if you're small, doing it yourself, I have a student that actually sent me a full blown app last week. And yeah, it looks great. And I can tell it's vibe coded, but like your average consumer, this is just another web app. Okay. So you can create website SEO audits, right? You can create automated reports. Think of like ScanSuite, content generators for blog posts, copy, right? Loud AF, and then you can go even further into email sequences and things like that. Obviously, review response tools. I've got a software around reviews. Landing page builders, very simple, right? You want to offer that. Comp analysis, competitive analysis, or even proposal builders. Think like onepagers.ai. Those are all softwares and tools that are micro opportunities that you can create for yourself or adjust the concept for your clients, right? Because once you build them a website, they're going to start asking what's next, right? You're going to find things that you could potentially help them with to move them down that path. Now, before you build ours, I wanted to give you just a couple of ideas of things that you could potentially look at. And if there's one on here, or if there is an app that you potentially think you could build, put it in the chat. Just put it in the comments, and we'll talk about it for a second. But you can do website auditing. You can do SEO tool checklists. You can create little landing pages for ad landers or even sponsorship deals, or you can create a embedded video page that offers something for them. Create them a lead magnet, right? Or a response tool, right? There's all these little things that you can build and set up for yourself, for your clients. Now, your agency probably already has some ideas of what you could potentially do for your client. So look at the work that you repeat. What do you do on a regular basis? These are some of the focused items that you can use to create a tool for yourself that you can then productize and sell at scale. So if you're wondering, where do I find my first batch of tool ideas? Look at this list, right? What are some repetitive tasks that your clients do? Or what are some ways to improve the workflow? Audits and reports. For one of our clients, one of the biggest things is they do several hundred deals a month. And we're trying to figure out how AI can take the data from a PDF and or from their site and merge the data and do a QC to actually send out a certificate. Are they generating content? Do they have any sort of proposals, right? Do they have lead magnets or things that you can help create? These are things that you can make that potentially could help you customize this as an AI agency moving forward for yourself. Now, what we're going to build today is going to be your first real AI app. Okay. If you're thinking, do I need to be coding? Does Jeff know coding? I actually don't know any coding. Most of you could probably program an Excel spreadsheet better than I can. We're actually not going to build a test prototype or anything like that. I'm going to show you what it took me to build the revision app in, I would say, maybe an hour or two last week, specifically for you guys. And you are going to have a copy of it as a member of the program. I'm going to show you how the whole thing works and how to actually set it up for yourself. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to just do live vibe coding with Lovable. Okay. I'm going to show you the app. We're going to go through. I'm going to show you where to get it from there. And then one of the biggest things here is I'm going to use Lovable. Okay. You can use Replit. You can use Base 44. There's a couple other ones that are out there. Dave, what's up, man? Hopefully your trip was great. I show you a couple other ones that are out there, right? You can use whatever makes sense to you. If you want this app, you obviously either have to show it what I'm doing and tell it to duplicate it, or just take the code and then make it for yourself as well. So that's going to be the biggest thing that we want to set up. So here's the deal. This is one of the first things that I've just set up in Vibe Code, just kind of playing around. And I took it from an idea to a working AI tool. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is probably would take a developer weeks to get up and running the base of it. I've built some frameworks and admin engines and things like that in the past, right? But the real test to this is that you can actually do this very, very quickly with AI. Or we're talking, you can accelerate weeks worth of work or even days worth of work into just a few hours to minutes if you want to take a look at it. So if you purchase the upgrade, you'll have the revision overview and customization training, right, which you're on right now inside of the school group. Hold on a second. I just accidentally zoomed on the wrong screen. Let me zoom in here for everybody as we get going. So this is where we're at right now. Okay. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to grab your own version of the app, put it on your own domain, right? That means you can put it and host it inside of your own account inside of Lovable. I'm going to teach you a couple of things that you can customize however you want, because when I was building it, it asked me, how do I want to build? So we're actually going to do a modification to a copy of this actual app right now, because I don't want to adjust the main one. And you guys are going to give me some feedback of what you want from there on the internal chat or on YouTube, and then help you modify the workflow for your own sales process. So like, the fingerprint that you will leave on this application after you take it and remix it, right, which is a clone copy of this, will be making it your own, okay? And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you kind of how to do all of this and set it up from there. So that's what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna go into Lovable right now, and you can see that we've actually got the site revision app. I'm gonna go through, I'm actually gonna remix it for myself right now. If you want, let's get here, live demo, revision. Okay. I'll show you how easy this is. I'm actually going to keep the project history from there. You'll be able to do the same thing. To get the copy of this application, if you've purchased the revision app, you'll have access to this. You can just go to the bottom of the page and have it say Lovable project link. That will link to my Lovable project right here. And then it will give you this page that you'll see that we just loaded up as well. So it's remixing it and setting it up right now. And then I want to show you real quick while it's loading how easy this really is. Okay. So I know a lot of you aren't going to be able to see this, so I have to zoom in a little bit. So I started this as just a little side project, right? To kind of show you guys that we could do this. I want to build an app that someone can put their current website or comps, I'd even say competitors, right? And Lovable will show them 3 demo examples that they would potentially look like as a new site. Give me a yes or no if you could come up with an idea and type, what is that, one long sentence into Lovable. Could you do that? And while you guys are typing, I want to show you what it did. So first of all, it agrees with me because it's AI, right? So it goes through and gave me an idea of some V1 features that are in here. And then it kind of gives me the idea of the darks, style, all this stuff from here. So it actually gave it set up. So I tried to do this as minimal as possible for you guys. Got a couple of yeses coming, which is great. From there, you guys are still awake. Okay. And then it created this app, right? So it uses the demo concepts. And then I basically had this portion of the app, most of it already there. Okay. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, let's do it. What do I need? So it basically said right now it uses demo concepts to make it a real AI-powered redesign, generate real AI-powered. We need to connect Lovable Cloud plus Firecrawl, okay? To scrape sites and AI to generate actual mockups. I can tell you this right now, a lot of developers can do this and set this up for you. This is not going to take them 3 minutes. This software in 6 minutes built me the app and connected Lovable Cloud and connected Firecrawl. Both of them did not cost me any additional money inside of this account. I showed you guys the cost. It was like, I have a $54 a month account right now. Someone like Dave, who's on here, has like $200, $300 a month because he blows through, thousands of credits a day. But I would consider myself a light user of this. And I'm very beginnerish when it comes to vibe coding because I don't have the time to come in here and play with it. But I can tell you one thing, I was adjusting this thing from like, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock at night till midnight. And I was just playing around vibe coding this night because it's addictive. It's what you're actually seeing progress in real time. So here's what it did. I told it, yep, I want to do this. We're going to make the real design. We take Lovable Cloud, Firecrawl, and Lovable AI, generated it. It did it. And in like 5 minutes, it basically enabled the cloud and it took it live from here. And then it connected to Firecrawl, came in and it did all the work. And it said it's all wired up. Here you go. Now, what I did was I then went in and tested it 10 minutes later, right? And it was not working. It's not going to work the first time, every time. It's just not, okay? So here's the business that I went and took as my example. So I just looked for a roofer in California or whatever. It found me this guy. The site looks decent, but like, I was like, all right, we're just going to pull in and see what we can do for his site. And I think I used this as my example a couple times. So I'm actually going to pull this open and show you what the actual live app looks like. I showed this to you guys in the demo, and I just put it into the app, okay? And it didn't work. So then I basically said it didn't work from here. I'm actually going to go ahead and let it reimagine. You guys have seen this in the demo in the training area from there. So it basically said the request failed, likely timeout, okay? And then it made the fixes for me. None of this came from any of my coding experience, any of my experience. I don't actually do coding. Any of my experience working with developers for the past, I don't know, 12 years, since 2011. So what is that? 15 years now. Like my previous experience, I'm literally letting the AI talk to me like I'm a fifth grader. Okay. So don't think that like there's any magic in here that I'm doing. Okay. It's telling me to enter the URL again. So it's almost like I'm having a conversation with another, agent or person at this point. And then it said generate the 3 concepts in parallel, right? Because it started giving me some ideas here, right? So I want to do it that way. Actually, sorry, it gave me buttons to push. And I'll show you what those look like here. See, it says like publish your app and add retry failed again button, right? It actually gave me options. It said, hey, you can generate all 3 in parallel. And then I just pushed the button and that's what it did. I did not type that. I just used one of its suggestions, okay? It did it. And then it starts prompting me, which you guys can't see, which I wish you could, but it starts giving me these little prompts down here on the left, and you can just push it. It literally is guiding you through the build, okay? So this is it for me in this case, and you can see it's doing all of the functionality as we go through, except, a couple different things. We find some issues, it fixes the issues, right? And then test the full flow, right? So this is now 20 minutes later, okay? And it worked everything from here. Pretty quick, pretty clean. And then I basically tested the screenshot upload. That didn't work. It went and fixed it. And I told it how to change things from here. And all I'm doing at this point is simply having a conversation. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the easiest, 1 being the hardest, could you have a conversation with the application that I built for you right here? If I gave you a copy, I showed you how to remix it. We've got the remix sitting right here. Okay. I need to have to connect this to Firecrawl and do everything. I'm going to connect this. Could you do this? 1 being, no, I can't do it all. 5 being, yeah, I could have a conversation with the application and go through. Just give me a 1 through 5 in the chat. I know it takes just a second for this to come up. And as we do this, it's just going to start working and it's going to set this up from here. Okay. Now, one of the things it does, a lot of 5s, cool. A couple 5s coming in. One of the things that it does is like, see, look, now it says verify the app works, publish the app. So I haven't published this app yet because it's not live, right? So that's one of those things. Somebody said 4, that's fair. From there, until you start doing this and proving it to yourself, this actually is easy and it works, then I understand where you can say like, hey, this is a 4 or a 3, or you might not be comfortable. But I can just click on verify the app works. Notice how when I click on verify the app works, it gives me the prompt. I didn't write that, right? So you guys saw all the prompting that was done earlier. I can just go through and it just say, hey, test the full design flow. I'm just going to go ahead and test it from here. It will go ahead and do that. Now, the biggest thing for me personally is this moment right here where the chat and the AI is doing its own thing and I want to go fast, right? Now I'm used to going fast in development. Usually this could be like a call to dev and then I have to wait till tomorrow before I see stuff. Well, this is still a few minutes, but it's going through and it's testing everything for me as we go in and as we set this up here. So what I tend to do is I will open up a separate tab or a separate window and start working on the sales site or working on something else, and then just come back to this every couple of minutes, because you can see that it's going through and it's just testing. It's been testing it for about 30 seconds or so from here. Now, what's really great about those little prompts, you can see I still have, you might be able to see this. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. I still have published the app just above my head here where the picture is, right? So I can publish that. You can see it's still going on. What's really cool is this screenshot is part of the conversation that I had, and it started giving me options of what can I do once somebody submits the website. So this is what we're going to work on today. Okay. So I'm going to go through, and as you can see, it's actually cloned the site. It's actually building it out for me, and it's going through. It's still thinking, right? But what I did was I put in on another browser for the actual preview of this site, I put in that Santee Roofing Company, right? So this is the design concepts. You know, I can put a different site in here. This is what their current design is. And it created a minimal, an editorial, which is a little bit nicer. And then I can actually compare them and pop them up side by side from here. So now somebody can go and they can see their site, right? Other things that it offered is I can actually see what it looks like as a full size, right? So that pops up the single one from here. Like obviously these are not the best designs. You can tell it to give you, you know, hey, remove playful and give me a better result, or give me a better type of website design from here, right? That's brutalist and raw. That looks like a newspaper. I would never use that one, but I've got 3, I don't know about the 4th expressive, maybe 3 website designs for a business, right? So what I could do in this case and say, hey, I like minimal, editorial, and luxury, put those as my top 3. For the remaining 3, we need to scrap those and we need to come up with designs that work for a small business. That's all you need to do in this case from here. Very clean, very simple, and you can tell it what to do. Now, in addition to that, this actually did not match across. The styles thing was down here. That's actually giving me the JSON, the style formatting, almost like a style guide. I can even download the image if I'm looking at this and filling it out. But if you're going to use this as a lead tool, what does the start building button do, right? Right now, it's not doing anything, okay? So what we need to do is figure out what the next steps are. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to go to your landing page? Do you want to tap the button to call or to let them download? This is where you get to make this app your own, okay? So you can see that I went back to our live demo, and you can see test the retry button on the failed card. You can see all the concepts worked, and then the button shows the retry button, but it apparently, I guess it didn't work, or something didn't work in here. Failed to generate an image, but correctly shows a retry button, okay? So it looked like one of them did not generate. So it will allow me to potentially put a retry button in there as well, okay? And then I can test it. So it's going in there and it's telling you what it found, right? These are things that you can set up. Now, for us, what do I want to do? Where do I want to send them? Okay. So you have the ability, if we go in and we take a look at, we can set it up where they can build their own site with Lovable, right? From here, they can export the style guide, which is what we did. We actually have the style guide on there. Or maybe, we also did compare side by side. I did use that one. But they can request a quote, right? And that will allow you to connect a lead gen form with a designer or a developer, or to you, from here. So if I fill out this form, right, and I'm this roofing company, I want to click on start building. Okay. I want to be able to give it the code to maybe fill out an opt-in form or go to a type form or to a high level page or go to my own website to fill out more information. Does that make sense to everybody? What's the next step? You get to tell the application right here, right now, where you want the next step to go. And it's totally up to you. Because once you go through and you actually hit publish and you add a custom domain or you link this as a subdomain on your site, people are going to start to fill this out. And when they do, and they get to this step, this is where you get to custom code what you want. Where do they go from here? So here's what I'm going to do. So once a site is submitted and I get the 6 examples, there is a, what was the name of the button in here? Get started, start building button. There is a start building button. I want to create a pop-up form when they click that button that then sends, that then asks them, came as spell today, it's a little bit later in the day, asks for their name, phone, email, and then sends me an email with their information, right? When they can't spell, submit the form, I would like to redirect them to, I'll just go to jeffhershey.com, right? Is that easy enough for you to give this example of what you want? All I did, and you guys just watched it, I just typed in, once the site's submitted, I get 6 examples, right? And go from there. I'm just going to go ahead and see if it can do it. That's it. Now, I know software can do this in Lovable, right? You guys are going to watch it happen live, and we can customize this so that you can do and send it to wherever you want. And it's going to go through, it's going to go check everything. It's going to explore the flow so that now when somebody comes in, they fill out the form and they want to start building. You can have this do a pop-up. You can do it whatever you want, and you can customize it for yourself from here. This is truly vibe coding at this point, right? I actually had it remove the how it works page and I had it come back and rebuild this. Okay. Very clean, very simple. And there's not a lot to this page because you don't want a lot for these tools as we get in. So now I'm going to go to a live demo. You can see that it's creating me a box right now. It's actually creating a pop-up. It's doing this for me, right? So it's actually building this while we go through and we talk. It's going to do it. We're going to put this example in. We'll generate a couple more sites from here. We'll go back to the revision app, and then we'll be able to put that in once we launch it live. Now, a couple other things that I want to make sure that we talked about, okay, is I'm going to show you how to put it on your own domain. We did cover that yesterday on the live call. Host it on your own account. So if you go to, and actually let me just open up a different browser. You just go to lovable.dev. And I think Lucius and I were talking about this yesterday. And a couple of people asked me like, oh, Jeff, what kind of account do I need? You can just continue with email. You can create a free account to start, and then they'll tell you what you need to upgrade. My account is like $50 a month. Last I remember, they had a $20 a month account. From there, if you don't mind the words Lovable and stuff on your site, you can get it away for anywhere from like free to $20 a month. I pay $54 a month. If you sell one website in the course of a year, that $50 pays for itself, right? We're going to customize this, and then I'm going to show you that we're modifying the workflow. So we're doing everything that we promised in the training, which is great. So now you can see that I've got to actually add in my lead recipient email. So this is going to add in the secret key or the email that we're going to send it to. So I'm actually just going to have it go to Jeff. Actually, yeah. Let's go to Jeff at reviewly.ai. You can see, oh, no. There we go. There's an email address. All right, submit there. And then it should be able to actually put that in there to forward it. Okay. On Tommy, I'll get to your question here in a second. On this, what you can also do is if you isn't returned to secrets list, let me verify it's saved. Okay. So it's looking, it's testing here. From there, what you could also do is say that button right here on this page, which I think I just now got rid of because hold on a second. Go back here. There we go. We go in here. There we go. It's already loading. So when it goes through it and does the button, we can actually have it do our own pop-up or go to a different site or whatever we want from there. So Tommy asks, how's the cost on Lovable? I've been using Replit, but prices have seemed to gone up. Just curious. Tommy, I pay like $54 a month for my account. My highest month was like 200 and something when I was really using this heavy. And I don't think I used the full 200. I was probably at like 100 something. But I was building dozens of sites a week with this kind of going through. Their prices have gone up as well. Typically, when you get in earlier, they will grandfather you in and they'll keep you. There are a couple of software companies that I've actually used over the last couple months. And then I've come back, or we weren't using them and now we use them again and the price like doubled. There's some companies that I've used in the past that I'm like, I wouldn't pay this much now, but I'm glad I'm in. So I think somewhere in the 20 to $50 a month range would be fair. And again, it's based on credits and usage and things like that. So you can go in there and you can play around and see what you need. So cool. Great question, by the way. All right. So there's that. And then obviously you've got the start building button right here. So let's see what it does. Okay. So it actually went there. And so Tommy just asked another question and I'll stop real quick. Your thoughts on Replit or not use it yet? I have some friends that have used it. I call myself kind of like a middle adopter. I'm not super early. Like I'm not in Claudebot or anything right now. I'm letting my folks that want to be friends that want to be bleeding edge or just test all the new stuff. Right. As marketers, I'm not like a shiny object person like that. What I like to do is figure out what works in the space. From there, I've actually never used Replit that I can recall, or I don't even think I've actually opened up their site. I know there's Base 44 out there as well. I've heard good things about both, but it's like email marketing. It's go here, use this place. These guys are better. Deliverability is better. This just works for me. It's what I grew up in the vibe coding side of from there. So I can't tell you one versus the other. I don't have any experience to be able to tell you. Find the one that works for you. And if you're already in Replit and it's working, you don't need to jump ship, man. Just stay where you're at. Okay. I feel like nice approach. Cool. Thanks. Appreciate you, Tommy. Looks like you're going to be a subscriber, so welcome. Guess you just happen to see us while we're live. Cool. All right, and then Tommy, I'll since you just mentioned that, Tommy, one of the other things too is we've actually got a community. If you go over to agencystarterkit.com, that's what we're doing all of our agency level trainings and things with. That's where a lot of the folks that are on this call have come from. About 3,000 people in that group right now, and we can help you out, answer any questions. So cool. All right. So now let's go back into the live build. We got about 15 minutes left or so. It went in, note on email delivery. Right now, the backend logs the data successfully. To receive the lead info, you'll need to set up an email domain. This lets your app send branded emails. Would you like to set that up? So as you can see in this flow and in this process, it is walking me through all of the steps. And actually, I'm actually going to blow this up just a little bit more so you guys can see this real big on the screen. Okay. So it's actually prompting me, right? I do not need to fully understand coding. I don't need to understand anything that's actually happening on the back end other than the concept, right? I'm trying to connect it to, in this case, this little button down here, right? So the great part is the AI will actually ask you the questions here. Okay. Test the contact form, set up email sending, store leads in a database, right? So some of you, if you don't want to set any of that up, you can store the database or publish the app. So if I wanted to do any of this, I could go through and then click on the next step that I want and customize it for myself. So at this point in the journey, we should all have a slightly different fork. Now, maybe 20% of you will come with me the way that I wanted to do it, just like I showed you. Maybe somebody will want to send it to a landing page, or you don't want to do a pop-up, or you want to have them fill out a type form, right? Figure out what the next step is for you. And we do cover a lot of that inside of the training, inside of the school group right here. So if you went into the school group and you grabbed the Site Spark agency plan, session 1, I showed you how to create your own website and how to create your own landing page, right? From real ones that we actually have and that we've been showing you guys for the last couple of weeks. Today's is, hey, look, here's how you can customize this and make it your own. And then any of the sales decks, the swipes, and the entire process from cold outreach, how to find bad websites, all of the scripts, my high level snapshots that you guys can use are all in here to include a website proposal, right? Some pitch deck example, right? This is literally a pitch deck that I created specifically for you that you can use, and you can download it from Gamma and create it and edit it for yourself. At the end of the day, this is your product, okay? You guys and gals can go out and make this your own. You can connect it to your own domain. You can redirect it as a subdomain. You could have it on your phone, but it's a very simple, easy to use application that allows you to just put it inside of your Lovable account. You can then clone it right from mine, customize it, make it your own, diverge it from the version that you have, and then walk through the process with the AI. If you get to a point where you're stuck or you don't know what that next step is, you've got the school community, right? Go into the school community over at agencystarterkit.com, right? All of you should be in it because you wouldn't have access to this course if you didn't. And if you are part of it and you send me a DM, you guys will very easily, if you're new, you'll see exactly how to DM me. It's very simple. You'll see all of my posts. You'll know who I am. Put your link in the community. Put a link in the chat, or just DM me and ask the question of what do I need to do next from here. But with everything that you have and everything that we just walked you through, okay, you've now vibe coded. You've just taken the first step. Is it a baby step? Is it a crawl? Yeah. Have you built a full-blown SaaS? No, but you've taken the first step. Every agency starts with 0 clients. Every marketer has a list with one name on it, and it's their own. You grow from there, okay? So this is not difficult. It's not complicated. You have the capabilities within you to have a conversation, right, with the AI and be able to make it move forward from there. So with that being said, I'm going to pull up the last slide here and we'll go through. Very simple. When I was done with this, all I needed to do is decide what I want. I then publish it, connect it, and obviously I'm going to test it a few times and send it to myself. But you now have the ability and you have the access to this revision app. Make a clone of it, change the name maybe to whatever it is for your own. You can change it, right? You guys have the right to do whatever you want with it. It's yours from here, and then take those next steps forward. All right. That's not what I'm looking for. With that, I need to go ahead and pull this last slide up for you. Now, here's what I want you to do over the next 30 days. Okay. Go through the 30-day AI tool challenge for yourself. I showed you earlier in this training, different ideas, things that you can streamline or improve or simplify in your own agency. Build your first agency tool in the next 30 days. You could do this in the next 30 minutes, okay? Or by the weekend, you can have this up if you just use the app that I've given you. But to build your own tool outside of everything that we talked about, I want you to think about starting small, shipping fast, okay? What does it mean? I mean, identify and pay attention to things that you do over the next week that every client requests or that you need, or something that you feel like you're doing a repetitive task all the time. Okay. Turn that into an AI prompt that produces some sort of output. If you're not sure, you can start in Lovable and start the conversation. Tell it what you're trying to do, just like I did very early on. And I showed you in here. I think this is what I want to do. That's not the right one. Let me pull up the page real quick. In here is we go to the very, very beginning of this. I made a very simple prompt. I want to build an app that someone can put their current website or competitors, and Lovable will show them 3 demo examples that they would potentially look like. Every single person that's watching this live or on a recording, you can do this sentence. And if you're not sure about it, have a conversation with chat inside of Lovable or inside your own ChatGPT or your Claude or Gemini, whichever one that you use. I use ChatGPT and Claude, and then have it walk you through the process, and then ask it, how can I prompt Lovable to make this happen? Okay. Then you build a simple interface around Lovable. You saw how this worked. I showed you how I edit it and how I make this all work, and then test it. Put it into our group. Let's give it to a couple friends. Like, hey, I'm testing a tool. Let me know from there. Gather some feedback and then do your iterations quickly. Okay. That's one of the biggest things. And a lot of the folks that I work with, a lot of my friends in the space, right? We actually create tools and send it to the other person. Like, hey, check this out. Test this for me. Let me know what you think. Find 1 to 3 people that you trust that will actually do the testing and go through it and experience it for you. It could be a client. It could be another agency. It could be your cousin. I don't care. Go in there and find somebody that's going to test it for you and help give you some feedback, right? And then make the iterations and the changes. The really cool part about vibe coding and making AI tools and this challenge is it's not going to take you days or weeks, or hand it to a team during the working hours or overnight and then get it back tomorrow and have to do the revisions. We're talking like 1 to 10 minutes. Go do something else, go come back in 5-10 minutes, and then see what it gave you, and then make your next step happen. When you ship your first tool, you are going to see the potential and the opportunities. And I do have to warn you, it does get a little addictive when you start seeing little bits of progress with this tool and you're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Oh, wow, that's really, and the AI is going through. I can tell you, I was up till midnight a week ago, probably almost to today, a week ago, and I just couldn't stop. And an hour later, I'm like, man, I go to bed. It's midnight. I got to get up at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. But because I was seeing progress and the tool was coming to life in front of me, it was really cool. That's when the whole flywheel kicks in. That's when everything happens, and it happens faster, and you can start putting it to clients and you can start showing them solutions that you've created. And it really does make a difference from there. So where do I sign? There is no 30-day challenge specifically. I actually walk you through all the training, everything that you saw. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put this up for you inside of agencystarterkit.com. Actually, let me put your comment down here. If you go to agencystarterkit.com, you're going to see our site Spark training. Actually, let me go ahead and grab that URL real quick for anybody that's on here, and maybe you want to be a part of this course. Let's see here. I think it says, let me just make sure I have it. It's correct. Yep. This is the link in here. You guys can get it. Let me just reactivate it real quick. This right here, you go to jeffhershey.com/spark. We'll walk you through. It'll give you the training, and then there isn't going to be a specific challenge per se. Okay. What it's going to be is it's going to be the training course that we covered yesterday and today. And then the 30-day challenge will be for you to go out there and start this on your own and go through it. But if you do have questions, we have the group to be able to get you moving, help you get forward from there. And then you can see that we've just built in a little under an hour from the code that I built a week ago or so to create a little revision app. We've now have the ability to go and we host it. We can put on a custom domain. We taught that yesterday, but we kind of revisited that lightly today. You can edit it, customize it to your own liking, and then sell it from there. You can use it as a tool to help your clients. You can create tools to help your clients overall, or you can just use it as a lead gen, lead magnet, fulfillment tool for yourself as well. So that's our training for today, for tonight. Thanks for those of you that could come on a little bit later, for your patience, since the internet went out about 7 o'clock last night, and it took until 3 o'clock today to get it back. I was unable to run the call at 12 today, but we were able to get it in and get you guys everything you need from there. Big question. I normally ask this at the end of all the trainings. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat down below. If you want access to this, you go to jeffhershey.com/spark. It'll walk you through that process. Let me hide my comment from there. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being great, 1 being terrible. How would you guys rate this training? And, if you rate it, would you like me to do more trainings like this on AI tools and agency tools and things like that? I want to make sure that when we do these, you are getting value out of it. You understand the process. For those of you that have been with me, like Warren, I know Warren, we emailed, got you in today. For those of you that have been with us for an extended period of time, that we practice what we preach, and we show things over the shoulder and teach. And if you're newer, by going to agencystarterkit.com, you're going to be part of that community. But I want to make sure that if we go down a path that talks about AI tools for agencies and things like that, it's going to be relevant to you guys and what you're setting up from there. We have changed from doing this on GoToWebinars and secret things behind the scenes to now, obviously, I'm on StreamYard and we're doing some live streams and we've got this on YouTube and stuff like that. Obviously, you've got to be part of the training courses to get the assets that are part of this. But I did want to make sure that we tested something this week, and I found a couple little things that I messed up, or that we didn't do right, or that I would, my preference is not, something. But I think what we're doing right now is truly working. And I think, we are able to really give you guys value on this and then go from there. I don't know if the circle thing that I've still got on my screen, it's interesting. I might switch that back to the square in the future. So, but with that being said, we got 9.9s. I got, oh yes, more trainings, 10s coming in. Awesome. Great. So no one said 1 or 2. Cool. Well, we'll continue these moving forward. This Thursday, I'm traveling down to Cabo to see one of my friends open up his speakeasy and a small restaurant and bar down there. So I'll be back on Monday, and then I'll be back in the office on Tuesday. So if you need anything from there, and then Doug, great. I like what you just said, Doug. From there, Doug gave us a 7 today. He said good coverage for a true beginner, and that was what this course was. Would like to see more advanced use of Lovable. So Doug, that's a great point. And that's something that we could potentially offer in the future as well. So thanks for that feedback, because if you don't tell me those things, I don't know if we have, those kind of folks on the call. So we always go with, hey, let's make sure that everybody understands this, and then we can always cover advanced stuff later from there. So I appreciate that feedback, Doug, as well. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to these trainings and you're not sure who I am or what we're doing here, visit this channel. Go look at some of the other videos that we have. Subscribe. I try to do right now 1 live a week to 2 weeks. Right now we're averaging 1 a week. I think we have 2 in the last 24 hours, but we're going to keep doing this and getting content and stuff out there. And we want to give some real value to agency owners, vibe coders, folks that are AI agency operators, and really make a difference for you in your business from there. So with that being said, we're pretty much wrapping up right at an hour, which is really good. We've added a few subscribers today because I saw some folks said they were going to smash the button and be part of it. Give the video a like. You come back, watch the replay anytime. And then, oh, great question. So you're in the USA, right? Just wondering why there were international fees on purchases for SiteSpark. That's from Steps. I am in the US, and then international would be from your IP address, and Stripe adjusts things based on where you're at. So that would be something that's not necessarily in our control. That's how they do the currency and the transactions from there. But that's a great question. If you have any questions, actually, I'll put up our support email. If you have any questions, you can email my support staff. We can potentially look into it for you. But I know the Canadians, that are part of our courses, a little bit more expensive for them based on the conversion. And then folks in the UK and Australia, it's a little bit different as well. So, all right. In the USA East Coast, that is strange then. I'm not sure why you're getting that. If you want, go ahead and just email our staff and then we can take a look at that. That is odd. It should know your IP addresses and then go from there. So I've not seen that question or not seen that issue before. So, all right, we are right at an hour. Training was scheduled for an hour, which is great. And we'll figure out what that billing issue was for you by getting in on international fees on Stripe. No one else has said anything to me on it. And if I look at the transactions, they're all the exact numbers. So that's really, really strange. Maybe it was right, maybe it's not. But we'll take a look. With that being said, we'll see you guys all inside the training. We'll see you inside the course, our school group. Again, agencystarterkit.com. Click the subscribe button, get notified of these videos. I tend to do them on Mondays right now. There will not be one next Monday as we go through. And then I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us, asking questions. We'll get the replay out in the members area by later tonight or tomorrow. And we'll see you guys all on the next one. Take care.